All right, we've got rising senior corner Andrew Duhart with us. Scott Wyckoff, you lead us off.
Hey, Andrew, how is it different in this spring camp coming in as a rising senior and coming off back to back seasons where you've been a starter at cornerback?
It's definitely been interesting, you know. I've stepped into a new leadership role. Been blessed with being the position captain for the corners, and I'm starting to see that we're actually better off as a unit than we have been in past years. We're deeper than we've ever been. Even the younger guys are stepping up into roles that they've never played before, and that we've never had young guys have to step up in a while. So it's been good for me gaining this leadership experience. And honestly, I'm becoming a better player as I'm helping the younger corners and the younger safeties come along. So that's the biggest thing I've seen so far is the difference in leadership.
What kind of goals are you looking to achieve on the field before spring is done?
Okay, so yeah, some goals that I've set for myself. I've tried to honestly hone in on my one-on-one coverage, because that's really what's going to take my game to the next level. I've focused on trying to learn the defense as a whole. I've been getting some reps at safety as well. So honestly, understanding the defense on a higher level is going to make me play faster. It's going to slow the game down for me, and then just getting my technique down as precise as I can be. That's been another the key thing. But for me, this off season, the biggest thing has been getting back 100%. Because I came off the season, it was a short turnaround for a lot of the juniors and sophomores that played last year. So that's been a key emphasis for a lot of us. Was getting back healthy before we came back and went right to work fully 100%. So
What's it like for you to have a position coach who has done everything, experienced everything, both on and off the field at the Naval Academy, both as a football player and a member of the brigade as you have?
right. It's huge. It's definitely huge. Coach Green, he's been a mentor for not only the corners but the entire team. Him and Coach Yo, guys who've been through it, they know what we go through on a day-to-day basis. So they know how much of a struggle it can be and how much of a grind it is, especially during spring ball. When you have six classes a day and then you have to go straight to practice. So it's it's big because they understand us. That's the biggest thing, and they're here to listen to us, and they're here to support us in everything that we need. And Coach Green, he's been very relatable for me. We've had some similar experiences here at the academy, so just having him by my side and by the rest of the cornerback side has been huge for us as far as development as a group, and getting the advice from him as far as leadership um, has been something that's really helped me step into that role this off season. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Wags.
Hey, Andrew, good to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
You talked about improving your coverage skills. Was there anything in particular you feel was not up to snuff last season, or anything in particular that you need to do better?
Right. So the biggest thing I focused on, and honestly, we focused on as an entire group, was working on leverages. We got a lot of different splits from receivers and stuff like that, and that can be pretty challenging for a corner because you need to know where your help is, and sometimes you won't have any help. So you just need to just hone in on your one-on-one, being on that island mindset and technique, because if a defense can trust its corners to go one-on-one for a full game, that makes it easier on the safeties. It makes it easier on the coaches to make better calls and more aggressive calls. So as a group, we've been working on our physical aggressive coverage, and personally, just my eyes and focusing on my keys and reading receivers, releases off the line and things like that. That's what I've been trying to focus on specifically in my one-on-one coverage. So
So, Navy had a pair of real ball hawks last season in Ray Lane and Deshaun Peel. And I'm looking here, Deshaun, 5 interceptions, a huge season. And he brought those back for 168 yards worth of return yardage. We know he had some big returns. Ray, 2 interceptions for 86 yards of worth of returns. They both had 5 pass breakups. That's gone. Andrew
right.
Duhart needs to put up those numbers. Do you want to be more of a ball hawk, picking off passes, breaking up passes, getting your hands on balls?
Definitely. That's definitely been an emphasis for me this offseason was working on my ball skills. I've talked about that with Coach Green and some of the other corners and safeties. And that's just an emphasis that we're all gonna have to focus on because we're bringing back um, not that much experience in the back end. We got Ira and Bryce that have played a lot. Got young guys coming along like Jay Ross, who's a ball hawk. He's gonna make some plays for us this year for sure. And Phil Hamilton, and we're just waiting to see um, what safety we can come bring along with us. And there's a lot of them that have a lot of potential. So hopefully that depth can allow us to be less of a one person reliant defensive backcourt like we've been in recent years, and hopefully we can all be ball hogs, not just one person. But I would say, yeah, that's something that I've been focusing on a lot this off season is my ball skills for sure.
Well, Ira is a guy that showed what he could do when he wasn't injured last year, and unfortunately, was banged up and missed some games. But I think of that big interception was at South Florida that he picked off near the goal line
Right.
and brought back near in the midfield and set up a touchdown by Texa. What do you see out of Ira and what he can be? Because I think he has shown the potential to be a very good cornerback.
Right. Ira is honestly, I saw it from when he first got on the campus that he was going to be a pretty special player. Um, and he's going to be as good as he lets himself be. So he's been working this off season. Me and him alike, we've been working through some recovery from the season, and we're just trying to make sure that we're bettering each other. We have a saying, "Iron sharpens iron." So we're trying to make each other better every single day, and we're trying to not only make each other better, but bring everyone else along. And that's what I've seen from Iris. His leadership has stepped up a lot, which I think is honestly more valuable than what he brings as far as skill set because once once guys in the room see that more people are bringing leadership along, then everyone wants to be a leader. And if you have everyone wanting to be a leader in your room, you're going to be pretty successful. So that's what I've seen Ira's biggest leap be so far this offseason is getting healthy and bringing some leadership along because he's always had the skill set to be a great corner here, and we've all seen it ever since he stepped on campus. So just those intangibles that he's going to bring off the field is what's going to take him to the next level for sure.
And you mentioned Justin Ross. What can you tell us about him and what he brings to the table? I don't know how much he's played at corner, but I believe he may have gotten reps on special teams last year.
Right. Yeah. So Jay Ross is he's super talented and he has the best build you can have for a corner. 6'3", long arms. He's fast. He can jump high. Super athletic. Yeah, he's just a guy that's gonna take the room to the next level. He got some reps last year at corner. He had a pick last year, forced fumble sack. So he has some experience, and so far this spring he's just taking it to a whole nother level. I mean, he's always around the ball. His technique has been refined, really in a manner that I haven't seen a freshman jump that far so far since I've been here. So he has big expectations this upcoming year, and I think he's gonna exceed those expectations. So I'm really excited about him too.
Who are some of the other young corners that have stepped up during spring camp?
All right, Philip Hamilton. He's a little banged up right now, but he showed a lot of promise the first couple practices. Nick Bell, Kenny Hall, another senior leader. Bryce Allen's really stepped up into a starter like role as well. And so we're just trying to bring as many people along to that starter level as we can, so that if someone needs to come out, if someone gets banged up, because it's inevitable, it's going to happen, that the drop off isn't there at all. There is no drop off. We just want consistent cornerback play at a high level, aggressive, physical, violent, and smart. Um, and so we've got a lot of guys that are coming along like that. And it's going to be an exciting rest of the spring and an exciting summer leading into the next season. So
Oh, thanks.
thank you.
I've got one. Andrew, your brother played basketball at Army. Was a good player. Did Army recruit you? And if yes, why did you choose Navy? And then second, have you enjoyed the bragging rights over your brother this year with football winning the star and basketball going 2-0 against Army as well?
Right. Yeah, so Army did recruit me in high school. Um, I would say that one thing, my brother was supportive throughout the whole process. So no matter where I went, he was gonna support me in my decision. But I'll say I chose Navy. I just felt like the family connection that we had when I stepped on campus was something that I never got the feeling of when I was up there. So it's just a different vibe down here. The players, they were welcoming ever since I stepped on campus. And there was just a big difference in culture, in my opinion. I'll say we have Navy. Even when I got here, I could tell that there was a really strong foundation of culture. And as I continued to grow in the program, I couldn't have been more sure that I made the right choice every single day that I step into the facility. So, and then I'll say, yeah, I've been enjoying the bragging rights. I didn't get on him as much about basketball, but I let him hear it after we won the first game. And kind of told him that the second game was gonna turn out the way it did. So, but yeah, it's always fun around that time of the year. But hopefully we finish it out strong. We're gonna finish it out strong next year. We're gonna get that back-to-back win next year, so I can finish my career with bragging rights. So,
Oh, for football, does your brother root for Army or does he root for you?
he showed up to the game this year wearing the black and gold. So, I think he's gonna stick with his alma mater, but he's definitely always gonna support me whatever I do. So,
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, as what Rayon has done in the Senior Bowl and getting to go to the combine and what the guys are going to get to do coming up in the senior day, does that give you something to even work harder for to maybe find yourself in that position at the end of your senior year?
Definitely. And that's actually something that a lot of the guys in my class are talking about. We feel that there are even more guys that can take that shot at the NFL next year in our grade. So we've Landon, Blake, Chat, Jackson, Kenny, Luke Pierce, Dylan Spillis. We've all been talking. Ben Purvis. We're trying to work to that. Like we think that that could be a new standard here, is to always have a good group that wants to take a shot at the next level. And we definitely have the skill to do it. So hopefully I can push the back end to a new level. Ray and DP have led the way so far, and hopefully I can continue that because there hasn't been a deep history of defensive backs going to the NFL from the Navy. So if we can start that trend and start that culture, then I think the team and the program is going to be better off. And Ray and DP have done a great job at sparking that and leading a new path for the program and the position group as a whole. So.
How beneficial has it been for you over your 4 years to have had the defensive coordinator move on to head coach, and he was backfield coach for you, and then to have Coach Volker also had been on the coaching staff? How beneficial is it to have had both of them throughout your 4 years coaching you?
Right. It's definitely given me a sense of comfortability. A lot of times when you have coaching changes and things like that, and you bring outside people into the program, there's a kind of balance shift, and it's not the same as it was before. And that's when you start to have team issues, player issues, things like that. But with the with the hires being within the program, that's honestly been a sense of comfortability for me, especially being a defensive coach. Um, that makes me think that nothing's going to change. I can still work the same way I've worked for the last 2 years before the change even happened. And then just being able to see Coach Volker and Coach Newberry's growth in their positions, just like we have growth as players, their growth as coaches has been pretty cool to see. And I think we can take it to an even bigger level next year. So I'm excited to continue working with them and just getting to know them better every single day. It's been fun for the last 3 years.
And do you expect them for your senior year to add some new wrinkles as they've done in the past years to the defensive scheme?
Definitely. That's something can always expect from Coach Newberry and Coach Volker is that they're going to put something in that's even going to shock themselves sometimes. But yeah, we can definitely expect some wrinkles and defenses, maybe some new packages and things like that. You never know when you have coaches with a creative mind like they have. I've never been around coaches as smart as them. They know as much as you can, and the biggest thing about that is they're willing to learn from their players every single day. And with that, we see that we have a lot of potential to open up the defense a lot. And I've talked to Coach Volker about that. I've talked to Coach Newberry a little bit about that, about opening up the defense to in ways that they haven't in the past. So you can always expect new wrinkles with them. And I think that's what's going to happen this summer. So.
And finally, for me, have you enjoyed your foray into playing a little safety in practice? Do you like that?
Yeah, it's always cool to try something new and you know, knowing the defense at a level like I do, it's not much of a drop off when you're thinking about it, but just learning the new techniques and learning the new keys that you have to read. It's always fun. And then Coach Lewis, great guy, is very entertaining. So having him supporting you, um, it's a blast to work with Coach Green and Coach Lewis. So um, we're trying to build a culture and a standard in the DB room. And for me, being a pretty experienced leader, it's very helpful for me to see the game from their side, from the corners. I mean, from the safety side as a corner instead of just seeing it from one side. So being able to see what they see is going to help us as a DB core communicate better and honestly improve to the next level coming up, especially with the lack of experience we have. So just knowing that they can trust me and I can trust them is something that's going to be crucial if we want to have a successful season this upcoming year. So
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Why have you been playing safety in practice this spring?
Yeah, we've had a few injuries, a couple people banged up. Um, and the coaches honestly trust me with that position. And the knowledge that I've had, the knowledge that I've gained over the last few years has been a big factor in why they've trusted me to try it out. And then from my perspective, just being able to gain a full understanding of the entire back end and the coverages, rotations, and things like that is going to help me be a better corner. And honestly, if you never know what could happen in a season, someone may were to go down, then I could step into that role and there wouldn't be a drop off there either. So just being as versatile as I can be, playing anywhere the coaches need me to play is something that's been a key focus for me, specifically in the spring. Even though I didn't think that it would start off that way, but it's something that is going to take my game to the next level, and pretty appreciative for the coaches for giving me this opportunity. So,
So I see your older brother played football at Old Dominion. What were the driveway basketball games like at the Duhart home back when you were younger in high school?
um, they were pretty aggressive. They got competitive a lot of the time. I have two stepbrothers that were pretty athletic as well, and I was actually always the odd man out. I would just sit on the side and watch my brothers play. So I did a lot of learning that way. But when it was my turn to step up and hop in the game, I think I held my own. And so just being able to compete with my brothers um, at a very young age, it was something that's beneficial to me, and I've carried that throughout my entire playing career here at Navy. Um, and we still compete a lot. We still have some driveway basketball games, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and whenever we're together. So competition never dies. So
You mentioned being a position captain. Do you aspire to be the defensive captain?
definitely. We've got a lot of great leadership on the defensive end, especially returning seniors like Landon and Kenny, Luke, Jackson. And so it's always a challenge to compete with those guys every single day. But you always want to aspire to be the highest role in leadership that you can have. And it's always a new opportunity every single day to try and lead the corners, the DBs, and then the defense as a whole. I try and communicate with the defense as much as I can, as often as I can. Um, and so if that opportunity presents itself, I would I would I would take it with open arms. I would never turn that down. So
But you've already been stepping up I mean, as though you were coming. Being captain doesn't start the day you're named the captain. You got to, I think, right now you're proving the coaching staff's watching and seeing who in spring is showing they're deserving of being the captain.
right. Yeah, like you said, it starts honestly your junior year during the season. When those seniors start to transition out, whoever comes to the forefront is who's going to lead the team next year. And two guys that to me have stood out have been offensively Blake and defensively Landon. Those two guys they've took the bull by the horns and kind of just controlled the team. They've been open about everything. They're always there for you when you need them. And so having guys like me and Purvis, Teska, Eli, Jackson, Kenny, supporting them whenever we can. It's a pretty good competition to see who wants to be team captain, who wants to be defensive captain. So I think that this is probably the deepest the field's been um, to choose who you want your captain to be. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up being the captain. But I'm excited. No matter who it is, we're going to support them, um, and we're excited to see what's going to happen with that.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
I was just going to say those same things. It's a really deep field on both sides of the ball this year. Uh,
Definitely.
how helpful has it been to have RB Green as your position captain? And really, I'm talking off the field. RB is a great coach on the field, but off the field, he's a guy who went to Naps, played 4 years here, had an illustrious career in the Marine Corps. How helpful has he been to you off the field?
Right. So off the field, he's been extremely helpful, and I can't say enough about how he's supported me throughout the last 4 years, and how I've seen him support the guys that have graduated and went on and served. He always talks about them, stays in touch with them all the time, and I've just seen that his experience has carried over to his coaching, and so I asked for advice from him on how to lead because he did it for 20 years in the Marine Corps. So he has a lot of experience doing that. And then, just bouncing off experiences off each other about our time here. Pretty interesting to see the differences. And he knows that he doesn't let us get away with a lot because he knows the tricks and things like that that you learn over your time here. But he is always supportive of us whenever we have something that is big coming up, whether that be service assignment or 2-for-7 signing. He's going to give you advice that he learned from his time here and that he's seen his friends go through. Um, but having someone like that with as much experience as he had is something that you won't find at any other school. So he's been a big part of my time here, and I'm always appreciative of him. So
Remember when RB was a player, there was a corner on the other side of him, Sean Andrews, who had a ton of interceptions. Um,
right.
and he liked to say that Sean Andrews got all the interceptions because people were afraid to throw at him. Do you say that same thing to Deshaun? That Deshaun got all the interceptions because no one wanted to throw at you?
Oh yeah, man, it always happens. I let DP get his shine in a lot. But yeah, no, that's my guy forever. So we joke a lot, the Virginia connection that we have, and we talk about Norfolk versus Richmond all the time. So it was fun competing with DP during the season and Ray and Embiid, but um, it's gonna be good to have DP as well as a grad assistant TAD here. So that's gonna be big for the corners as well as the safeties. So yeah, I'm always excited to compete against DP, but I let him get all the picks this year. So
All right. Thanks a lot, Andrew. Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back at 3 with RB.